I'm Mark Webster.
I'm Joseph Goodpaster.
Cameron Brown. So good to be back, fellas.
Oh man,
Clean up nice, boys.
I know,
looking
right?
good. Start the show.
Before we start, we should shout out new faces, Keon White and Jamar Watkins. They are here to help us this year.
We got Luke Busall and Jackson Neighbors.
You will see some of these guys a lot. All right, so we're going to start off with MLB and our picks for the AL MVP. Mine being Mike Trout. I'm a huge bandwagon of this guy. I'm not going to lie. He does whatever he wants to do. He brings people home. He plays in a tougher stadium than his competition, Josh Donaldson.
Well, okay, I agree somewhat with the Mike Trout situation, but the Angels didn't make the playoffs.
You're right.
That's a key concept in my opinion. So I mean, I respect the Mike Trout pick, but I like Josh Donaldson. So I'm going with Josh Donaldson.
Gotcha.
Now, I mean, we're not picking a team necessarily for MVP. We're picking a player, and Mike Trout is as good a player as any. Loads of talent right there. And 41 home runs and 90 RBIs. That's some numbers that one player puts up, and that's incredible.
And if you look at his numbers compared to Josh Donaldson, it's really no argument. The only argument that you can put up is the fact that Mike Trout didn't make the playoffs.
Well, you know, in my opinion, I think you got to make the playoffs. I mean, because we look at other sports, that could be a key concept.
If you, all right, for National League, I think we all could agree on this. He's the best player in the world right now, in my opinion, and he's a chosen one. I like to call him that. It's Bryce Harper. I mean, this guy has a batting average of over 330 and a slugging percentage over 690. He hits the ball and he will play. Basically, he was born to play baseball. Anybody that knows his story knows that he dropped out of high school, I believe, and went straight to college and played somehow. I don't remember, something like that. And he has 118 runs right now, not counting home runs. You know, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on Bryce Harper. I mean, you look at his RBI thing too. You know, 99. It's impressive.
It's very impressive.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, no doubt. He's just too good. Just too good.
Moving on to a topic that we're all more comfortable with.
Yeah.
In football. We're going to talk about football now. The best team in the NFL right now.
You, Joseph, you start.
Let's start with me. Yeah, I would have to say the Denver Broncos, mainly because of their defense, who's gotten so much better over the years with Peyton Manning just being there. Right now, through 4 games, first overall defense, first overall in total yards allowed, first overall pass defense, and number 8 rush defense. Excuse me. But they're just too good, in my opinion. Their linebacker core is the best in the National Football League, with DeMarcus Ware leading the team in sacks with 4.5, and Von Miller with 2, and 18 overall sacks. And now those two alone combined for 6.5 sacks, and now that's not even close to. Like, if you watch them play, they get so much pressure on the quarterback every play. They hurry the quarterback, they knock down the quarterback. If they're not getting the sack, and then they're doing that and disrupting the quarterback in some way. And then Danny Trevathan and Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall being a really big key with 33 combined tackles, the most on their team. 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 5 tackles for loss. Now,
and you forgot to mention, they haven't even had Derek Wolfe yet, and he'll be returning from a 4-game suspension.
Yeah, absolutely. So his defense is only going to get stronger on the D-line, their linebacking core, and their secondary with Akeem Talib leading it is not one to mess with.
See, I agree with you on that. Their defense is very, very strong, but I cannot agree that they're the best team in the NFL right now. The best team in the NFL, in my opinion, are the Packers. With the best quarterback in the NFL right now, Aaron Rodgers has a QBR of 87. He has 11 touchdowns with 0 interceptions in 4 games, 995 yards already. With a 72.4 completion rate, this dude's getting the ball into some receivers' hands. As a team, they put up about 28 points a game. They're top 10 in the league in yards and top 8 in the league in opponent yards. So they're playing offense and defense. You mentioned a lot about the Broncos defense, which hasn't been as good in past years, so it's very surprising. It's very pop out for everybody because they have a very, very good defense this year. But their offense hasn't been connecting on all cylinders like we would like. The last game when they played the Chiefs, was it the Chiefs?
The Vikings.
Vikings. Okay, when they played the Vikings, they really shouldn't have won that game. We watched. They really shouldn't have won that game.
It's really close. Yeah.
Sometimes the luck of the draw, and the defense did pull that out. But an altogether team, I believe, is the Packers. Now, on my favorite defense, I would have to say the Broncos. Just because, like you said, their secondary, Aqib Talib, Harris Stewart, T.J. Watt, they have a lot of strong players, none who were ranked top 5 in cornerbacks. But they have a very underrated, strong secondary who I could think could compete with the Legion of Boom. And
that's a bold statement right there, my brother.
I believe that this is the best. This is my defense for fantasy football. I picked them, and I had very, very high confidence. I read a couple articles over them, how they had a huge chip on their shoulder, and I love underdogs. So they came in, they're playing great. But I don't think altogether as a whole team they're the best team.
Well, speaking of underdogs, let's go to a team as my favorite team. Not my favorite team, but a team that's really like the best team as of right now that I see.
Okay.
Carolina Panthers. Many people have not been talking about the Carolina Panthers. It starts with Cam Newton. He's been playing phenomenal ball. Look at their offense. Points per game, 27 points per game. Passing yards of 759. Rushing yards of 529. Interceptions, through 8 interceptions. But let's go on the defense. Watch this. Josh Norman, 2 interceptions. First in NFL. Sleeper, right? So, I mean, if you have to look at the whole picture, there's teams out there, such as the Carolina Panthers, that aren't getting that much respect. It could actually make noise. I know some people might say the division isn't strong, but look, Atlanta Falcons also 4-0. So let's watch out for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, and the Carolina Panthers very balanced on both sides of the football, offense and defensively. Luke Kuechly, probably one of the best linebackers in the game, is gonna be coming back from that concussion, and they just acquired Jared Allen from the Bears, a tremendous pass rusher. So their defense is only getting stronger, and I'd like to see the Carolina Panthers make a run in the playoffs.
What's your thought on the Carolina Panthers?
The Carolina Panthers, I agree with you for most parts, besides the part where you said the division. Atlanta Falcons, they both are 4-0. How long will they keep this up is all I'm looking for.
Right.
Because how weak the division. I mean, it's a huge turnaround for the Carolina Panthers, and they were the best team in the division last year. Saints are terrible.
You're right.
Honestly. So, I mean, I don't like their division. I don't see them winning a championship yet. Carolina Panthers are still young. Like we were talking about yesterday, the Carolina Panthers are still a young team. So with due time, they can keep this up. They'll be good. And this is Cam Newton's only third playoff appearance, second playoff appearance. So I mean, I don't see him going in there making a big entrance and winning a championship yet. I see them winning maybe 8 games. I know that's only 4 more.
8 games?
8 or 9. Yeah, I don't see them. I don't see them winning 12 unless they just keep playing the weak competition that they play in the division. To be honest, but they're playing very surprising defensively. Luke Kuechly coming back, going to be great. They're going to be a very good team.
Anytime you have a Hall of Famer by the name of Drew Brees in the division, I wouldn't exactly call it weak.
Well,
but there's other aspects
if you see their offensive line, Drew Brees doesn't have time to. Drew Brees is a great basketball player, and football player, and I wouldn't ever disrespect a great of any game. His team though, his offensive line is terrible. I watched the game against the Cowboys. Drew Brees is the reason they won that game because their offensive line wasn't holding anything against a Cowboys team who's not up to par themselves. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think I would never disrespect Drew Brees ever, but that Saints team as a team is terrible.
Adjustments need to be made.
Offensive line adjustments everywhere. While we're on our surprising team, Jesse, you want to go ahead and give your surprising team of this NFL season?
I'm gonna say the Miami Dolphins. Sadly, such high hopes for them coming into the season, acquiring Ndamukong Suh, so many other big names. They just haven't performed well, both offensively and defensively on the ball. And their defense has definitely let down, being 17th in the passing game, and 31st overall in the run game, which is disappointing.
And Ndamukong Suh is not the smartest character, you know what I mean?
True, we all know that.
You can't kick a kid's football helmet off, or a guy's football helmet off. I should stop calling people kid because he's always got bigger than me.
Yeah.
You can't kick another guy's football helmet off. Like, mentally, he's not up there. He has all the talent in the world. I'm not going to say he's J.J. Watt, you know what I mean? But I'm saying he's close. He's very talented football player. Very, very talented football player. Maybe the combination of Ndamukong Suh wasn't good for the Miami Dolphins. Who knows what's going on in their locker room?
I mean, they paid him the money, so they obviously thought he was going to be a key aspect to that team.
He's not.
As of right now, we see money can't buy happiness.
He's not. He's not
producing.
But my surprising team would be the Cincinnati Bengals. Offensively, for sure. You know what I mean? Defensively, they're not bad, but offensively, for sure. They're putting up about 30 points a game, 1,000 over 1,000 passing yards, 512 rushing yards, only 3 interceptions this season. But still, they have 11 sacks, and the teams that are scoring on them only about 19 points. AJ Green has emerged even more. Andy Dalton has, we were talking about earlier yesterday also. And Andy Dalton's always been a good quarterback, but he chokes. He's a choke artist. Yes. And I just see with the way he's playing right now and the way AJ Green's emerging, as the best wide receiver in the league, then they can actually make some noise in the playoffs. Because I do believe that they will make the playoffs, even if they come in as a wild card. And I think they're going to make some noise for sure.
I would like to see how the Cincinnati Bengals progress over the season when they start playing more talents, such as, for example, this week they play a really good defense about the Seattle Seahawks. So let's see how Andy Dalton responds. Well, it's being a home game for the Bengals. Yeah. It'll be really interesting. My surprising team, I'm going to have to go with the Oakland Raiders. Everyone right now probably thinks the Oakland Raiders will be 0-4. I know I did. But Amari Cooper and Derek Carr, those are two key aspects to their team that really help them. Derek Carr's passing completion has been going up this year, and Oakland Raiders are my surprising team. Not saying they're going to make any noise or anything, but they're surprising me this year.
While we can stay on the topic of football, just move to college football. We all know what's hot right now, and Ohio State and
Michigan State.
You know what I mean? But I don't think either of those teams are the best teams in the country. If you guys had to pick your 4 for the playoffs, who would it be?
Start with you.
Start with me?
Yeah.
All right, so I think because Ohio State plays no one this year until the end, Michigan State, if they lose that game at Michigan, they won't make the playoffs, but they don't play anybody. Ezekiel Elliott's a very good football player, and they have a lot of depth, but they just haven't been able to connect yet. So I think Ohio State stays in there somewhere. I don't think they stay 1. TCU, which is a very, very good football team, maybe the best in the country. Offensively, they're going to put up numbers. Alabama, I think will move back up there. They lost to Ole Miss, but I think they're also top 3 in the country. And then, surprisingly, I'm going to have to throw Utah in there, who's number 5 right now. Not many people had a number 5 or even making the playoffs, but I see them making the playoffs. And they're my favorite team in the country right now, besides my Kentucky Wildcats. They're first in the Pac-12. They just beat Oregon 62-26, and that's good. Oregon in the past hasn't been a bad football team, which is very, very.
Is Oregon ranked this year?
They're not ranked.
I mean, they were in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, they're not anymore.
Not anymore.
Putting up 40 points, putting up 40 points a game. They have 7 interceptions, and teams are only scoring 19 points about them. Both of their quarterbacks have over 100 QBR. And over 6 yards average in passing. In the first 4 games, their running back, Devontae Booker, has 443 yards, 4 touchdowns, and is averaging about 4.2 yards. Their quarterback has 3 touchdowns running, and their backup quarterback has 2 touchdowns running. So these guys can score, as we can see. It's just to see if their defense can play the same way as their offense.
Good picks, good picks.
Yeah, and the teams right now, Ohio State at number 1, TCU number 2, Baylor 3, Michigan State 4.
Oh, that's bold.
I thought Michigan State was
No. As of right now, that's the standings. So, and of course, probably only 1 or 2 teams are gonna still be in the top 4 when the playoffs come around. No doubt. Now Ohio State, you mentioned. Has an easy record.
Yeah.
Michigan State, not too tough either. But those 2 teams play each other at the end of the year. So one of them obviously are going to be knocked out, along with TCU and Baylor. They also play each other last regular game of the season. So again, like one or 2 of those teams are still going to be in making a run for a playoff.
As right now, you said the current standings. My final 4, you got to throw Alabama in there.
Yeah,
of course. You have to throw Alabama in there.
Of course.
Despite what their 1 loss outweighs Ohio State's play right now. So you got
and it's
Alabama.
A holistic view, too.
Yeah. Alabama. I'm going to throw Baylor in there. Baylor, right?
Over TCU?
Over TCU, because that last week, if I'm not mistaken, they play each other, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
I got Baylor winning that. I'm going to throw Ohio State in there just for the general purpose of them being the defending champion.
Best team in the country.
And the last team, we're going to throw in there.
Michigan State?
Maybe Michigan State.
You can't throw them both in there because they play.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you can take Ohio State out.
Florida?
Yeah,
Maybe?
maybe Florida. I throw Florida in there, just the way they smacked Ole Miss.
See their competition.
Yeah.
They're going to play people. They're in the SEC.
Yeah.
So they're going to play the competition. If they keep winning the way they are.
I was really impressed by them handling it to Ole Miss. Like, I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one.
No,
impressed by
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It was a
absolutely.
smack and a wake up for me. Is that all for everybody? Anything?
I'd like to point out Michigan State's Connor Cook real quick. Just breaking the record for most team wins by a quarterback at Michigan State. So congrats to him. From me at this table, I don't know about you fellas.
I always respect guys who make.
Since we're shouting out, I might as well shout out Bud Dupree, who's a Steeler right now, who's playing good, former UK player. Coming from us.
He's helping them out.
Well,
That wraps it up,
is that
boys.
it?
It's been good. Thanks for watching.
Tune in next week.
Our thoughts go out to Louisiana and their organization with their quarterback passing away this past weekend.
Yeah.
So our thoughts and prayers are with them and their family and their program.
Louisville needs to quit buying girls. We're out.
Yeah.
And I got this soul.